Okay, let's look at another problem, a complex fraction, and this time I have two terms in both the numerator and the denominator, so I need to get it to just one fraction in both the numerator and denominator. So I look at what is my least common denominator for my terms in the top, in the numerator. Okay, so I have x plus 3 and 3. So my least common denominator up there is going to be 3 times x plus 3, right? So to get them to both have the same denominator, I'm going to multiply this first term by 3, everything by 3. And then my second term needs to be multiplied by x plus 3. Okay, let's put that as a fraction, which is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to actually go ahead and let's see, rewrite this down below to try to keep it neat. We've got a lot going on. So 3 times 2 is 6, and then that's minus the quantity 1 times x plus 3 is x plus 3, and all of this is over 3 times the quantity x plus 3. Now that they have a common denominator, we can just put them both over top of 3 times x plus 3. Okay, now let's look at our denominator. So I have a x squared over 3 minus 3. Okay, well, my least common denominator there is 3. Okay, so this first term stays the same. But my minus 3, well, I need to multiply, let's see, that's over 1. So I multiply by 3 over 3 equals 9 over 3. Okay, so that becomes a minus 9. Okay, there's a lot going on here. So, but we are now to the point where we have a fraction on the top and a fraction on the bottom. But there's a lot going on with these fractions. But let's give us a little bit more space. So, let's see. In the numerator, the x minus x plus 3. Well, that becomes, let's see, that becomes 3 minus x over 3 times the quantity x plus 3. Okay, now I'm going to multiply it by my denominator, but it's the reciprocal of it, so that becomes times 3 over, I have x squared minus 9. That's a difference of squares, so I'm going to x plus 3, and I'm going to say x minus 3. Okay, now I'm going to see if there's anything I can cancel out that's nice and easy to cancel. Well, I can cancel out the 3's. I see that I've got a 3 minus x and an x minus 3, so I know that if I multiply by -1, that will flip the order of these terms. And then, but if I do that, I have to do it on both sides of my fraction, so that I'm multiplying by 1 essentially, right? So now what happens is I'm able to cancel out, because that became x minus 3. I cancel out my x minus 3. Goodness gracious. This is where it's important to keep it nice and neat and tidy. So up top, I've canceled everything out, so I'm left with a 1. Okay, and now let's write what I'm left with on the bottom. I'm left with a -1. And then I have x plus 3 and x plus 3. So that's looking like x plus 3 squared. Last step, let's make this nice and pretty. This -1 kind of hanging out there on the bottom, we can take it to the top and write this as x plus 3, the quantity squared. And we are done. Okay, so one of the key things to being successful with these problems is, of course, keeping track of everything. The math itself is pretty straightforward, but it's easy to lose things. So go ahead and try some of these more complex problems on your own.